Big shot, give me some. Just put your feelings on. All in, yeah. Get it done anytime, anyone. Call it, yeah. Give me some, give me some. Oh, yeah. Number one, give me ones. Oh, yeah, yeah. Top five. Not five. Not four, not three, not two. Not four, not three, not two. Say what I mean, I do. Top five. Not five. Not four, not three, not two. Not four, not three, not two. Say what I mean, I do. Okay, yeah.
Yo, what's up, YouTube? Back at you with another video. On today, this is Raw Detroit. Make sure you tell a friend that we're here. And without further ado, let's get into it. We're going to talk about Brad Holmes' plans for the Lions. And we're going to talk about evolving or sticking to the plan. You know, should he evolve or should he stick to the plan? Now, pretty much if you're a Detroit Lions fan, you have been watching Brad Holmes pretty much build this team throughout the NFL draft. And that is a beautiful thing because every team in the NFL has the same goal, is to build their team through the draft. I don't think that Brad Holmes is the only GM in the NFL that wants to build his football team through the draft. But when it comes to the free agency, you know, free agency is normally getting guys, getting players that you need, bringing in those veterans that's going to be able to help the team in the long run. And the biggest thing is, as a Lions fan, you have to understand this. We got two guys that mean a lot to our team, Aiden Hutchinson and Aleem McNeil. Aleem McNeil has already gotten paid by the Detroit Lions, and Aiden Hutchinson will get paid within the next few years. He'll be getting a big payday from the Lions as well. But at the same time, you recognize that you're being patient as a Detroit Lion fan. You're being patient with Brad Holmes through this process because you're trying to see what is the plan for the Lions when it comes to free agency. The Lions have one of the worst free agencies in the NFL. And what I mean by that, what I'm talking about, they don't bring any players in that really is going to help them get to where they want to be. Ultimately, you should be wanting to host up that Lombardi trophy. And I'm not saying that none of the players that we brought back, we can't use these guys, because when I look at those guys, they are rotational pieces. They are depth pieces. You know, maybe, Levi, he'll start here and there or whatever, and things of that nature, because they decided to bring Levi back. And then we picked up the guy from Arizona and Lopez, which I don't got a problem with that. You know, those are depth pieces. You know, bringing back Anthony Pittman and Ezekiel Turner. You know, these all are depth pieces on the team. The biggest thing for a Detroit Lions fan is we're trying to learn how to trust the process of Brad Holmes. And this is not easy for every Detroit Lion fan. Everybody don't feel the same, and it's okay. We should all be entitled to our own opinions on what we think about the situation. Some people get mad at you because you have your own opinion on the Detroit Lions. Well, all of us are not yes men. All of us are not saying that a boy Brad Holmes for every single move that he makes. Yes, Brad has changed the coach in Detroit. Yes, Brad has done a phenomenal job with some of the draft players that he have been able to draft. He has not hit on every draft player, and not every GM is going to hit on every player. We understand what the GM job is. You know, it's not like we don't know what his job is. His job is to get the personnel for the coaches. You know what I mean? Whatever you need on offense, you know what I'm saying, you'll grab those positions, and whatever you need on defense, you'll grab those positions. Now, in order for the Detroit Lions to have a successful defense, guess what? You're going to have to grab the personnel. The Lions, the defense needs only a few pieces, added to the team. We know that Terrion Arnold is growing. We know that Ray Straw, he's going to be groomed. We know that now we have DJ Reed, who's going to be the starting corner. So it's gonna allow Enos Rexstraw to develop a little bit. They feel like he's not ready yet, so that it's gonna allow him to cook for a few seasons. We know that we got Amik Robertson on the team, who's a dog, and we know that he can play inside and outside at the nickel, and he can play outside as well. So we know that we got some players on this team that can ball. We know that we got two of the best safeties in all of the National Football League in Kirby Joseph and also in Brian Branch. And then you already know that we got two solid linebackers. We got a couple solid linebackers in Derek Barnes, who's has re-upped, and now he's back on the team, signing a 3-year deal, reportedly worth $25 million. So now you got him added back to the thing. Now he's coming back off his injury. Most of these guys are coming back off injury. Guys like Aiden Hutchinson and Aleem McNeil, they'll be coming off injury. So they're not going to be 110 once they come off this injury. They got to shake off the rust. And, the biggest thing coming off an injury is not being scared to go back out there because you're scared that you're going to get re-injured. That's the biggest thing of coming off an injury, especially a significant injury like Aiden Hutchinson had, and also what Aleem McNeil had. And pretty much they kept Marcus Davenport out for the whole entire season. Now, I could not understand how Brad Holmes would bring back Marcus Davenport, because Marcus Davenport's whole career has been injury prone. And I just couldn't understand his plan for Marcus Davenport. I understand that it's a cheap deal. We all understand that most of the deals that he signed was under probably $5 million. Most of the guys that he brought back, besides DJ Reed, who got the most, and it seems like that's what Brad Holmes has been doing. He's been paying the corners because, even at the time when we had Cam Sutton had the biggest deal from the Lions at, I think, $33 million or something like that he got from the Lions on a 3-year deal. And now you bring in DJ Reed, who's a little bit smaller corner, but he still can play. He still can ball. He got a $48 million deal. So it looks like Brad Holmes has only been willing to dove out money to these certain positions, which has been the secondary. But we're asking, as a fan, Brad, what are you going to do about the pass rush? Are you going to evolve, or you're going to stick to the plan? And right now, he's sticking to the plan. We have not added. I've never seen. I'm telling you guys, go through all of the NFL free agency. You've never seen this many edges being let go or allowed to seek trades in your life. I mean, from guys from Leonard Floyd to Von Miller to Hendrickson from the Bengals, Khalil Mack. Now, a lot of these guys have signed now with teams now, so we're pretty much trying to pick through the pile to see what guys that we can grab. DeMarcus Lawrence. There's all kind of players out there, man, that the Lions can pick, that they can pick up and help this team. But Brad Holmes refuses to grab a veteran defensive end, and I think that that's what we need. We need a veteran defensive end to be able to come in and play. Now, is Brad Holmes' plan to double up on the defensive lineman in the draft, or do Brad Holmes see a guy in the draft where he's willing to go up and get that guy, and he's a plug and play guy from day one? What is Brad's plan? Is he willing to evolve? Because time is evolving. I know he's trying to stick to the plan, but times are evolving. The biggest thing that the Lions need to do is they have to get more athletic. We have had a problem for years with the mobile quarterbacks in the NFL. And we saw that firsthand by Jaden Daniels being able to do whatever he wanted to do. He came into our territory in the playoffs, smacked us up, and left out of our building. And Jaden Daniels went on the road and beat 2 teams on the road, Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Detroit Lions. So we got to come correct this season. We got to have a legit defense, man. And it's going to be this thing is going to be Brad Holmes has to be held accountable, man. I don't care what nobody says. Brad Holmes has to be held accountable. People are always calling accountability hate. Oh, you guys are hating on Brad Holmes. You're hating on Brad Holmes. No, nobody's hating on Brad Holmes. Nobody's hating on Brad Holmes. We love what Brad Holmes has been able to do to this team. But it's a such thing as accountability. All of us have to face that word, accountability. We're accountable to our bosses at work. If you're not a boss and you don't run your own company, you are accountable to somebody. That means you have somebody that you have to answer to. Brad Holmes has someone that he has to answer to. Brad Holmes, guess who he has to answer to? His boss, Sheila. And then you're accountable to the fans to make sure that you get the product on the field. If you're going to raise the prices up on the tickets and stuff like that, then you ultimately, at the end of the day, you need to make sure that you're going to do the job that you need to do, and that's to get the personnel on the field. So is Brad Holmes is he gonna evolve, or is he gonna stick to the plan? Now, he's been sticking to his plan, so hopefully his plan works. But right now, currently, we don't have an edge. We don't have somebody that can play alongside Aiden Hutchinson. And even when Aiden Hutchinson comes back, you got rid of a healthy Zadarius Smith to bring back an injury-prone Marcus Davenport because you wanted to save money. Okay, you saved a little bit of money. You didn't want to pay. So if you didn't want to pay Zadarius 10 or 11 million, you know he's not going to play any other defensive end. And that's the biggest problem. Brad Holmes is trying to get everybody for cheap. And I'm not saying that you have to break the bank. Maybe give the guy like 12 million at the most. But he's not going to do that because we didn't even get Joey Bosa. Joey Bosa ended up going to the Buffalo Bills. The Lions, I don't know if you guys really understand this, but the Lions, their schedule is the toughest that it's ever been. If you don't get the players and the personnel this year on the field to be able to rush the passer, which the Lions can't do, they're one of the bottom teams when it comes to getting pressure and sacking the quarterback. And the only people that pretty much are able to get to the quarterback on this football team is Aiden Hutchinson and Aleem McNeil. Those are the only two that been regularly been able to get to the quarterback. So if Brad Holmes doesn't handle his business and go and get an edge via free agency, or if he doesn't double down in a draft and get a couple edges in the draft, then what are we doing? What are we saying? What is Brad doing? So at the end of the day, we want to know if Brad Holmes is evolving or is he sticking to the plan? And if you're sticking to the plan, Brad, make sure you get an edge. Don't forget about the edge. You can't forget about that position. It's very important.